Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming along. My name is John Casey, work for SKF, and we are here on stand 45, which is straight down there. And joining me on our stand, we have Sally and Alan. And Alan is going to do a little bit of presentation on seals as we go forward. So a little fun fact, 20% of all energy is used to overcome friction. And this year we've been with the tagline, fighting friction. So why have we done this? Because I think we've come a long way with our food and beverage offers now that we're tackling the energy side of things. So we're looking at really overcoming friction. And our food and beverage journey from food grade to food safe is very product specific and application specific as well. So if you look at the pain points and the challenges the companies are facing, especially end users within the food and beverage industry, you're looking at strict cleaning regimes. So these are the outcomes of the more demands that people are putting on the factories to become safer, especially food safe. And this is costing unplanned and frequent production stops because the washdowns are so harsh and violent that they're causing the bearings to break down. Then to overcome this bearing breakdown, people are then over-lubricating their assets, so causing more spend on lubrication and, again, unplanned and frequent production stops to lubricate. This then results in grease leakage because people are lubricating to purge, and then this grease is causing hazards, slip hazards, and obviously an area for bacteria to collect. So with those in mind, we have come up with a product-specific range of food line offers. And where it all started was with our blue line units. So we changed everything within the blue line unit from a item which could be lubricated to a re-lubrication-free housed unit. And this is typical for all of our housed units, and they come in all sizes and shapes to suit the market, so everything is retrofittable. The technology that we've put into this is all, again, application specific. So we've got a back seal, we've got a front cap, which is good up to 70, 90 bar, and then beyond that we've got a gutter seal, and there is the main area that we changed was the grease. So we played with the grease and we've made him less susceptible to the breakdown using the caustic solutions that people use and their detergents. So with the blue line unit, the take-up was brilliant. We've had a really good success with it. We've trialed it and it's really proved itself. So what we did to further advance our range, we then introduced it into our deep groove ball bearings. Now with the deep groove ball bearings, some of them are fitted non-food contact and food contact, but we've made all of our bearings food grade. So you'll have food grade grease in each of our bearings. But so we don't go over expensive, we made them in a range which is standard bearing material. So it's not stainless steel, but you get a good seal on there. The seal is specific to the speed it needs to move at and to keep the conditions out. So we've then moved into a stainless steel deep groove ball bearing, and these are all in our 6000 range, all available in stock. And with the stainless steel range, it's got a food grade grease, it's got the upgraded seals, and it's also got the corrosion values that it needs to be within those areas. To further suit that range, we've moved the technology into our SRBs, our spherical roller bearings. So these are more for your heavier loading, with the deep groove ball bearings for your faster speed, the SRBs for your heavier loading. And again, quite product specific. You'll see them in poultry factories, you'll see them in bakeries, where they've got harsh loads requiring a bearing to suit the product. So all that technology from the food line unit has then been produced into those. We've also got then, for really harsh environments, we've got our solid oil offer. So the solid oil offer is a hard lubricant, so the grease and the soap has become hard, and it causes the seal of itself, keep out most contaminants. And then for the really, really bad ones, we've got hybrid bearings, which are ceramic rolling elements with a stainless steel makeup. So we've looked at every possible problem within the food industry, and we've come up with a series of products. And more, we've introduced everything that SKF can offer along that line. So we've got high temperature offers, which are graphite bearings. We've got specific lubrication problems where you can't be lubrication free. Selection of seals, which Alan will tell you about. Power transmission, chain and sprockets. And we've got basic condition monitoring. Now the basic condition monitoring is specific for food and beverage because of the slow speeds. So we're able to read the slow speeds and monitor the critical assets. This has become very popular with pumps and motors, where if a catastrophic failure in a bearing would cause a big shutdown. With a big shutdown, it's costing money, so we can help eliminate that by giving a warning. So to find out more about these products, come and have a chat with us on Stand 45, and we'll take you through all the benefits and features of it. We're not being product specific today with this presentation. We're giving you an overview of what SKF are doing at the moment. So by introducing those products, we've then introduced food safety, which has really been paramount to where the reason for everything that we're doing. Maintenance, so you're freeing up your maintenance problems. By having a bearing which is going to last much longer than a standard bearing, we're freeing up the maintenance requirements. Being kinder to the environment, our housed units are 100% recyclable. If they're not part of it recyclable, then they can be burned for energy. And our steel bearings, the stand steel bearings, can be remanufactured as well. So we're being good to the environment. And for the output, we're lessening unplanned maintenance. So you can have a more planned maintenance regime so that you don't have to go into areas firefighting. You can be a bit more sustainable. To complement all our products, obviously we've got our food grade seals, food grade grease, and we're IP69 seals. So these are really important features. You're safe to know that any bearing that we supply you within our food range has got food grade grease and a food grade seal. So if you look at what you can alter, 36% of bearings fail because of poor lubrication. And we can change that. We can change that by introducing our range of products. We can change it by introducing our lubrication offers, because we understand what the bearing does. Being SKF, we manufacture the bearing, manufacture the lubrication products. So we can change the 36%, we can lessen that down. Contamination, we can be a factor in that because of our seals, because of what we've done with the food line bearings, and the ability for us to work with customers and see where their problems lie. Poor fitting, 16%, and other items is a big makeup as well. So we can start changing things around, and we can make sure our bearings last longer. I mean, your bearing is a requirement within your rotating products, and what we want to do is make that bearing last as long as possible for you. So we always work to the bearing life cycle. Now with the bearing life cycle, again, really important, we start with buying a bearing. So you're purchasing a bearing through authorized distribution. Really, really important, because with an authorized distributor, you're getting an authentic bearing. If you're going through an independent, it may not be authentic. We can't give you support on that. We'll fully support you if the bearing is bought through authorized distribution. Then we look at mounting the bearing. So we can give you worksheets on mounting a bearing, how to mount it efficiently, and we can also give you the right tools to do that. And then you're looking at lubrication. We can advise on lubrication and alignment. Again, all important features, and our basic condition monitoring, which we've talked about. And then we can tell you how to efficiently dismount the bearing by using the right tool. And we have an app for this. It's on Bearing Assist. It's on Apple Store. And again, if you come down to Stand 45, we can take you through all the features of that app. To further complement SKF's journey, we are looking at becoming a really sustainable company. So we're working with the right people, and we are Platinum EcoVadis, and we're looking to be carbon free within 5 years. So I mean, that's a journey. We've committed to that. We want to be there with where all the right companies are going, and I think it helps us when we're talking to companies machine manufacturers about what our journey is, and it suits their journey as well. So, just to give you a few examples, and I hope you're not squeamish, but obviously, in some of our processes, we've been able to come up with real solutions. So this was a company that was manufacturing items which were really needed to be food safe, and they were getting a lot of audits. So we introduced a product which overran the original product they were using. So the mean time between failures doubled, and we were able then to help that customer increase production. But at the same time, we became a feature with the auditors. So the auditors would come in, look at some of the problems, and when they see a Blue Line unit that's not re-lubricated, really clean, cosmetically perfect. Using one of our deep groove ball bearings with a solid oil, we solved a problem within a chicken processing factory. So the importance of this one, it was the area was really humid, really wet environment. The bearings were breaking down because of contamination. This caused a bottleneck at the beginning of the process. This is just after the chickens have been plucked, and this was unacceptable to the company. So we went in and we looked at it, and we brought in our Food Line bearing with solid oil and our seals as well. And this was a real plus point. We've moved this into lots of different poultry companies as well. And then this is what we're talking about grease-wise. This is a standard unit. This is the sort of thing you're seeing. We use this as a milk bottling plant. We improve reliability by inputting our units, and we reduce maintenance costs. And the offshoot from this is that we moved within a lot of dairy companies as well. So the uptake of our product within dairy companies has been second to none, because they're seeing this, and this is really unacceptable when you've got a cap full of grease. You take our cap off, there's no grease in it because you haven't been able to lubricate it. And this is a success we've had with our SRBs, our spherical roller bearings. Again, this was in a poultry factory, a bit more heavy load requirement, but we work with the customer through our design of our product, and this is where it really helped our product take off in the SRB industry. So we introduced a series of bearings as samples, worked with them over 6 months, and it really became a plus point, and we are now able to make that a standard product. And this was thanks to Sally's hard work. So that's me in a nutshell. Like I said, come down to stand 45, and you'll be able to see what we're up to. And I'll give you Alan now, who's going to take you through some of our seals.
Thank you, John. So John mentioned there, as SKF, we were looking at the food and bev market and engineering solutions specifically to meet your needs. So from a seals point of view, that starts with materials. So we have an extensive range of materials which are certified to EC and FDA regulations for use in the food industry. You can see some examples here. So things like polyurethanes, which is a very robust hard-wearing material with excellent abrasion resistance. Complementing that, we've got our elastomers, or what people often return to as rubber materials. So that would be things like EPDMs, MBR, high-temperature FKM materials. And then finally, we come to thermoplastic materials. This would typically be PTFEs, whether that's virgin PTFE or filled. Okay, so from materials, we then looked at the actual seal profiles and the requirements of seals for the food industry. So from that, developed a range of standardised seals, which you can see here, specifically to meet the needs of the food industry in terms of hygiene, obviously endurance, reliability, and performance. And complementing that range, if we can't fix a solution with a standardised seal, we've got a large range of customised solutions which we can offer for our machine seal solutions, whereby we can make small quantities, large quantities, tailored to your specific needs. Again, if we move on to successes that we've had in the industry, just to give you a feel for what we can do. In this first example here, we've got a filling machine. This was for dairy products, so primarily yogurt. Customers having mainly issues during the CIP process, whereby the existing seals were swelling, causing the depositor to seize up, and they're having problems with fill due to dry running after the cleaning cycle. So we looked at the application, and for this we were able to offer one of our standard food and beverage seals, the D1P, made from polyurethane, for actually depositing the product. And then on the back of the piston here, we can see a PTFE seal which is energised by rubber, and that's for the vacuum, so the drawing the product in cycle of the process. And we selected that because PTFE has very low friction and it's a light contact seal, just to improve performance. So with this solution, we managed to increase the service life of the solution, reducing the amount of times that the customer needs to replace seals, increase reliability, and we had materials that were compatible with the CIP solutions which overcome the primary problem. Next, in this next application, this was for a large industrial food mixer. Top diagram, you can see the original seal arrangement, which had a 6-part seal stack. The problem here was the seals weren't preventing the product, which would be things like syrup, water, dried fruits, that kind of thing, from entering to the bearing housing of the gearbox, which was causing early failures of the bearings. So our solution in this case was to look at the complete arrangement of seals and offer a solution that could fit into the existing housing. We simplified it by reducing it to 4 seals instead of 6, or 6 components. The first part is a rubber energised plastic scraper to prevent solid contaminants from getting into the system. That's backed up with 2 springless rubber seals, which we can see here, to prevent wet product from getting into the bearing. And then finally, you've got a more conventional spring-loaded lip rotary shaft seal for keeping grease in the bearing housing. So all these seals are made from food-compliant materials. The seals on the product side, we eliminated any springs from the system, thus reducing any risk of spring or metal contamination into the product. And this extended service life to around 6 months. We basically doubled the mean time between failures for the bearings. Here we've got an example of another dosing system sealing solution. In this case, the original seal set was what we call a PTFE wafer seal. So a thin section of PTFE which is just deformed around. Customers having problems with seal life, so it was abrading quite quickly, and also they were getting a lot of inconsistent fills. For this we were quite simply, just more or less by changing the material that was being used, we were able to offer an alternative solution in one of our polyurethane materials, which is our HECA material, again fully food compliant. As I mentioned earlier, it's very robust, excellent wear and abrasion resistance. And that solution extended the usable life of the seals from 4 or 5 weeks to in excess of 6 months, and the customer estimated that our solution saved them approximately £90,000 per year in downtimes. Okay. Finally, this next application, so this was for a fryer. Customer was having issues with hot cooking oil getting into the bearing housing of the drive rollers on the conveyor system, which were very close to where the oil was, leading to premature failure of the bearings. So in this instance, SKF looked at the application as a whole. We looked at the bearings, the housing and the sill, and we were able to offer a specially machined housing in which we could locate some high temperature rubber seals, and obviously offer a food line bearing inside as well. And again, this solution increased the service life of the application to beyond 12 months of lubrication-free running. So again, saving the customer a lot of downtime and costs. Okay, so that's me. So thank you for listening. As John mentioned, we're at stand 45. If anybody's got any specific applications they'd like to discuss with us, please feel free to come and see us. Thank you.